Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Padamhansa Pariprajaka Ashto Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kunigiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Welcome to all the devotees. By circumstance, I'm on my phone today, and I'm going to switch phones in a moment to Madhupati's phone, if it works.
Zoom ID.
No, you don't have a Zoom ID there. I may not switch. In any case, we're on the phone today, and the only downside of that, except that I might run out of data, is that I won't be able to see the chat box very easily. So if you can keep me up to date on that, Kendra Prabhu, then we'll be up to speed. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Shapadantikam Vande Hang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Laganatan Vitam Stam Satiman Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In this section of Chaitanya Caritamrta, Kaviraj Goswami has been explaining his introductory verses to the book. And now he's been explaining the verse where he says that Brahman is the effulgence of the personality of Godhead. Paramatma is his plenary portion. Bhagavan is that personality of Godhead himself. And they're all Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Recording.
Seconds.
Just yeah.
We have unlimited power. Kaviraj Goswami has been explaining that Lord Chaitanya is Bhagavan himself. He's the Paramatma within everyone's heart.
Excuse me, Maharaj, I think we need more volume on you.
Are we better now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so Kaviraj Goswami has explained Lord Chaitanya's existence as Brahman, as Paramatma. Now he's talking about Bhagavan. And that in the course of the discussion, Kaviraj Goswami relates a playful exchange.
Dropping out, Maharaj.
Dropping out. Is the signal dropping out?
Audio is dropping out. Your visual, we can see the video, but the audio is dropping out, or it gets very faint.
Is this better now?
Yes, maybe if you could keep the phone closer to your mouth, that might be better.
Yeah. Audio only today.
Can you put on speaker? Otherwise, you can.
One second. Okay. So what does that do, putting it on speaker?
And free kind of thing.
Okay, whatever it is, we're good. Shift the mind from technology back to the text. So Brahma said to Krishna, after being humbled in his test of the Lord, which Brahma stole the cows and calves and boys. Now he's said to the Lord, you're Narayan himself. And Krishna is responding, Brahma kohe, jalajive, and then Krishna has responded, no, I'm not Narayan. What are you talking about? Narayan is the person who sits in everyone's heart and who lies on the causal ocean. And now Brahma is responding. Brahma kohe, jalajive, jay Narayan, she shab tumar amsha, e satta vachan. Brahma replied, what I have said is true. The same Lord Narayan, who lives on the waters and in the hearts of all living beings, is but a plenary portion of you. Karanapti karbotaka shirotaka shayi maya dware shrishti kore tate shabmayi. The Karnadakshay, Garbhodakshay, and Kshirodakshay, these forms of Narayan, all create in cooperation with the material energy. In this way, they are attached to Maya. As we'll find in coming verses, this supposed attachment to Maya is quite faint or only superficial. She tin jal shai sarva antarjami brahmanda brinder atmaje purusha nami. These three Vishnus lying in the water are the super soul of everything. The super soul of all the universes is known as the first Purusha. So the Karnadakshay Vishnu is the super soul of all the universes. Hiranya Garbher Atma Garbhodakshayi Vyashti Jiva Antarjami Kshirodakshayi. Garbhodakshay Vishnu is the super soul of the aggregate of living entities. Yasti means the aggregate of all living jivas. And Kshirodakshay Vishnu is the super soul of each individual living being. So the Karnadakshay Vishnu is the super soul of all the universes, Garbhodakshay Vishnu of all the living entities in aggregate, and Kshirodakshay Vishnu, the super soul of the individual living beings. E Shapar Darshanete Ache Maya Ganta Turiya Krishner Nahi Mayar Sambandha. Superficially, we see that these three Purushas have a relationship with Maya. But above them, in the fourth dimension, is Lord Krishna, who has no contact with the material energy. Purport. The three Purushas, Karnadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Kshirodakshay Vishnu, all have a relationship with the material energy called Maya, because through Maya, they create the material cosmos. These three Purushas, who lie on the Karna, Karpa, and Kshira oceans, respectively, are the super soul of everything that be. Karnadakshay Vishnu is the super soul of the collective universes. Garbhodakshay Vishnu is the super soul of the collective living beings. And Kshirodakshay Vishnu is the super soul of all individual living entities. Because all of them are somehow attracted to the affairs of the material energy. They can be said to have some affection for Maya. But the transcendental position of Sri Krishna himself is not even slightly tinged by Maya. His transcendental state is called Turiya, or the fourth dimensional stage. We were reading about this in Bhagavatam, where it's said in analogy that the Lord is like a husband who awakens the sleeping wife for enjoyment. So the Lord has an interest in the material energy. He manifests it for the benefit of the conditioned souls, to give them an opportunity to do their nonsense, but more importantly, to come back to Godhead. So the Purusha avatars are involved with this business, whereas Krishna has nothing to do with all the business of Shristi, Sthiti, Pralaya, creation, maintenance, destruction. He's simply enjoying Goloka Vrindavan. All right. Are there any questions so far? The other thing is I can't see hands raised here, so if there are any, you'll have to let me know. Okay.
Maharaj, there are a couple things in chat. Let me read them to you.
Yes.
Prabeen says, these conversations between Krishna and Brahma do not seem to be found in Bhagavatam as told by Srila Krishnadas Goswami. Same also about Vishwanath Thakur's commentary. How are we to understand these conversations? Are they allegorical for the sake of instruction, or have they factually taken place?
Are these factual discussions, or have they or are they allegorical? We find this discussion here in Chaitanya Caritamrta not explicitly mentioned in the Bhagavatam, and we find similar discussions quite elaborately in various purports by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I might add that we find it in Srila Prabhupada's commentaries too, where in the Krishna book, where Krishna says, "My dear gopis," as I've explained in the Bhagavad Gita, and so on. So how are we to understand these things? These are, as far as I understand, unpackings of what's said in the Bhagavatam. That is to say, they're implicit. They're the themes, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the Atmarama verses in 64 different ways. And then he said that actually there's unlimited meanings in each word because each word is Krishna. So we get 18,000 verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. But each of those verses has, you could say, an unlimited purport. And so the acharyas are mining the verses. They're going deep within the verses and opening them up. The verse may consist of 20 or 30 words, but the acharyas open up those verses, sometimes by explaining them in their own words, sometimes by paraphrase, sometimes in the form of these discussions, where it's going back and forth. Are they imaginary? No, they're not mere imaginations. They're in there. They're in there in the verse, but one has to have the vision to see them. One has to have the vision to see them. I hope that explains. Is that okay? And would anyone like to add something to that? And it's also, by the way, quite a relishable sense of quite a relishable way of treating the verse. There's sometimes in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, sometimes he reinterprets the verse so that it says exactly the opposite of what the text at face value says. He just re-examines the grammar. I remember there's a verse in particular in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, where Lord Krishna is speaking to the gopis when they arrive in the forest to dance with him. And he says, "Na stayam, don't remain here. Go back to your homes." And Vishwanath interprets it, or reanalyzes the grammar, and redivides the sentences so that he's saying, don't return to your homes, stay here with me. So these what would you say, re-examinations or rereadings of the verses are relished by pure devotees, or even by those of us who are not so pure. We can still appreciate how he's drawing out the nectar that's present in these verses. Not everyone can do that. It has to be in line with Vaishnava Siddhanta. It has to be in line with the teachings of the acharyas. It can't just be fanciful, but the pure devotee acharyas can do these things. There was a second question there, or something else in the chat box.
Yes, Maharaj. Athena asks, how does Krishna not have affection for Maya, his internal energy? In the 10th canto, was it specifically Vishnu then who was guiding and giving instructions to Maya, that is, to take birth as daughter of Jashoda, etc., to prepare for Krishna's descent?
Say that again, because I missed it a bit. How can he not have affection for Maya? And then in the 10th canto, he's speaking to.
Yeah, I'll just read it again. She says, how does Krishna not have affection for Maya, his internal energy? In the 10th canto, was it specifically Vishnu then who was guiding and giving instructions to Maya, that is, to take birth as the daughter of Yashoda, etc., to prepare for Krishna's descent?
Of course, Maya is the Lord's internal energy, Yoga Maya, and the Mahamaya is a portion of the Yoga Maya. All of Vishnu's energies are spiritual from Lord Vishnu's point of view, but some energies act in such a way as to bewilder the conditioned souls, and those are called the Antaranga Shakti, external energy. But it's Krishna's energy, so in that sense, spiritual. The Lord, as we've been discussing, he does have affection for his external energy. She's also a servant of the Lord, but the dealings with that energy are here said to be with through Vishnu for creation, maintenance, and destruction. For the pastimes of the Lord, the instruction, you take birth this way, that way. I don't recall any specific comment about how that instruction is being given, whether Krishna himself is saying it to Yoga Maya or to Durga, or whether he's speaking that. Of course, it would be in his Vasudeva expansion, but whether he's speaking in some other capacity, I don't really know. I don't recall any reference about that. But in any case, he's dealing there in a pastime context. It's not, the dealings of Maya there are not going to be the dealings of bewildering the conditioned souls and manifesting goodness and passion and ignorance and all of that. Rather, it's going to be all within the context of facilitating Krishna's pastimes. So in that context, there's no, what would you say? No material relation, really. So it's really, you're seeing more of the face of Yoga Maya there. Yeah, that's about as much as I can say without wandering too far into mental speculation. Is there anything further on that or anything else?
That was
Okay.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna. Now, back to the text. Virad hiranya garbhascha karanam chetupadhayaha ishasya yat tripir hinam turiyam tat prachakshate. So here's the evidence for what Kaviraj Goswami has said about the three Vishnus. In the material world, the Lord is designated as Virat, Hiranyagarbha, and Karan. But beyond these three designations, the Lord is ultimately in the fourth dimension. So Turiya. Purport. Virat, the phenomenal manifestation of the Supreme Whole. Hiranyagarbha, the numinous soul of everything. And Karana, the cause or causal nature, are all but designations of the Purushas who are responsible for material creation. The transcendental position surpasses these designations and is therefore called the position of the fourth dimension. This is a quotation from Sridhar Swami's commentary on the 11th canto, 15th chapter, verse 16 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yadyapi tiner maya laya vyavahar tatapi tat sparshanahi shabhe maya par. Although these three features of the Lord deal directly with the material energy, none of them are touched by it. They are all beyond illusion. Etadi shanami shasya prakritis topi tad gunaihe ayujyate tadatmastar yata buddhis tadashraya. This is the opulence of the Lord. Although situated in the material nature, he is never affected by the modes of nature. Similarly, those who have surrendered to him and fixed their intelligence upon him are not influenced by the modes of nature. Purport. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:11-38. Those who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead do not identify with the material world, even while living in it. Pure devotees may deal with the three modes of material nature, but because of their transcendental intelligence in Krishna consciousness, they are not influenced by the material qualities. The spell of material activities does not attract such devotees. Therefore, the Supreme Lord and his devotees acting under him are always free from material contamination. In the Bhagavad Gita, Namam Karmani Limpanti Name Karma Palespriha Iti Mam Yo Vijanati Karma Birna Sabhadyate. Namam Karmani Limpanti. I can't be stained by contact with the material energy. Namam Karmani Limpanti. Name Karma Palespriha, and I have no interest in getting the results of any material actions. Itimam yo vijanati, those who know this, karma birna sabhadyate, are also untouched by the material energy. Those who understand Krishna in truth are unaffected by Maya. So what to speak of Krishna himself? He's certainly unaffected by Maya. And his expansions plenary expansions, like the Purusha avatars, are also unaffected even by their apparent contact with the material nature. Anything here? Shetin Janer Tumi Padama Ashray Tumi Mula Narayan Ite Ki Samshoy. You are the ultimate shelter of these three plenary portions, Brahma says. Thus, there's not the slightest doubt that you are the primeval Narayan. Purport. Brahma has confirmed that Lord Krishna is the supreme, the source of the three manifestations known as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Karanadakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu. For his pastimes, Lord Krishna has four original manifestations, namely Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. The first Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu in the causal ocean, who is the creator of the source of the three manifestations. Wait a second. Let's do that again. First Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu in the causal ocean, who is the creator of the aggregate material energy, is an expansion of Sankarshan. The second Purusha, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, is an expansion of Pradyumna. And the third Purusha, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, is an expansion of Aniruddha. All these are within the category of manifestations of Narayan, who is a manifestation of Sri Krishna. So this is rather high-tech, not high-tech, highly complex tattva concerning the expansions of the Lord and who expands from whom. Excuse me a moment. But the summary is that all of these Purusha avatars are expansions of the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Shaitinerangshi Parivyoma Narayan Te Hatomar Vilash Tumi Mula Narayan. The source of these three features is the Narayan in the spiritual sky. He is your Vilas expansion, pastime expansion. Therefore, you are the ultimate Narayan. Ateva Brahma Vakye Padavyom Narayan Teho Krishna Vilas E Tattva Vibhavan. Therefore, according to the authority of Brahma, the Narayan, who is the predominating deity in the transcendental world, is but the Vilas feature of Krishna. This has now been conclusively proved. So that ends our discussion between Brahma and Lord Krishna, put forward by Kaviraj Goswami to elucidate this point that Krishna is the original form, the original Narayan form. E shloka tattva lakhan bhagavatashar paribhasha rupehar sarvatradhikar. The truth indicated in this verse, text 30, is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. This conclusion, through synonyms, applies everywhere. And is that text 30 appearing on the screen? I wonder if we could, I can't access it on my little Kindle. but if we could take a peek at text 30, that wouldn't be bad. That is, if someone can read text 30, I can't even see what might be on my screen. Okay, I'm not hearing anyone telling me anything, but there is a text 30, and it indicates essentially what we've been hearing so far. Okay, Prabeen has put it in the text in the chat box, which I can't read. I just see that it's there. So if someone would like to read what Prabeen has posted. I assume it's text 30.
O Lord of Lords, you are the seer of all creation. You are indeed everyone's dearest life. Are you not, therefore, my father, Narayan? Narayan refers to one whose abode is in the water born from Nara, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and that Narayan is your plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. They are absolute and are not creations of Maya.
All right. So that's the verse in which this entire conversation between Lord Brahma and Lord Krishna is hidden. It's all there. It's just drawn out for us by our acharyas, in this case, Srila Kaviraj Goswami. The truth indicated in this verse is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, and through synonyms, it applies everywhere. Brahma Atma Bhagavan Krishner Bihar E Arta Najani Murka Arta Kodiyar. Not knowing that Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are all features of Krishna, foolish scholars speculate in various ways. So these are among the synonyms for the personality of Godhead. Brahma, Atma, Bhagavan. This is all Krishna appearing in different ways. Avatari Narayan Krishna Avatar Teha Chaturbhuja Iha Manusha Akar. Because Narayan has 4 hands, whereas Krishna looks just like a man. They say that Narayan is the original God, whereas Krishna is but an incarnation. We remember that Krishna in the prison house of Kamsa appeared as 4-handed Narayan just to impress his parents. Yes, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because, well, there I am with Shankar Chakra Gada Padma, with a diamond-studded helmet, with 4 arms. Obviously, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whereas when I appeared just as a baby, well, then I just look like a little child. So this is, of course, superficial. The form of Krishna, who is 2-handed, is the original form, and the majestic Narayan is the expansion. But Narayan looks like God, and Krishna looks like an ordinary human being. Avatari Narayan Krishna Avatar Teya Chaturbhuja Manusha Akar. Right. Because Narayan, so some scholars argue that because Narayan has 4 hands, whereas Sri Krishna has only 2, Narayan is the original personality of Godhead, and Krishna is his incarnation. Such unintelligent scholars do not understand the features of the Absolute. E mate nana rupa kore purva paksha tahare nirjite bhagavata pacha dakha. In this way, their arguments appear in various forms, but the poetry of the Bhagavatam expertly refutes them all. Let's see. Because I'm working with two hands today, or rather one hand for my Kindle, and I don't have four hands. Sometimes get lost a little bit here.
Maharaj, in the chat, Prabeen Prabhu points out that the verse you just read, he says this is a common argument in India.
Oh yes, Narayan is the original form, and this comes up in a few different places in Chaitanya Charitamrta. In one place, Kaviraj Goswami says, let everybody have their own point of view. We're not going to argue about this. You can say that Narayan is supreme. You can say that Krishna is the supreme. They're the same truth, so we're not going to quibble over it. And elsewhere, he gives, as here, authoritative statements supporting the assertion that Krishna is the original and Narayan is the expansion. And starting with, well, Krishna has two hands and Narayan has four, that's not much of an argument. I mean, really, whoever has the most hands wins. That's not an intelligent argument. And it's contradicted by the evidence of various scriptures, starting with this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Vadanti tad tattva vidas tattvam yajnana matvayam prameti padamat meti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that it is non-dual knowledge and is called impersonal Brahma, localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 11.
Maharaj, we have, I'm sorry, we have a question in the chat box, actually, too. The first was from Tulsi Priya. She has a hand up for you.
Okay. Tell me.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. When you were talking about Narayan having the four arms versus Krishna having the two arms, I had a sudden flashback memory of when I was a child. I first came in contact with devotees when I was about 10 years old, and got BTGs, and my mother owned a motel, and we used to get people who would come in from all over the world, and they would leave their BBT books that they would get at the airport, and I would look at them. And I remember as a child reading about four-armed Narayan and seeing pictures, and it used to freak me out. I liked the pictures of Krishna, but Narayan with four arms would give me a little bit of a scare. And I was just wondering, is the idea that Krishna is two-armed is because it's more congenial to bhakti? Is that somewhere in the mix there, that somebody with four arms is not so human-like, and so the feelings of love may not be as prevalent as it would be with somebody with just two arms? Or am I just making things up in my head?
That's reasonable. In the Vaikuntha, the Lord, the whole feature of Narayan is meant to impress. It's a feature of a regal feature, a feature of opulence and majesty, to be regarded with awe and veneration. So the everything about him contributes to that. His attire, his ornaments, his style of dress, his conduct, his bodily features, they all say God himself, the Supreme Lord, the object of our worship. Whereas Krishna, he's decorated with with mud from the cow pastures, with gunja berries from the Vrindavan forest, with clay from Govardhan, with peacock feathers, which of course Narayan may have also, but really he's with a cow herding stick, with a bugle, a buffalo horn bugle, with a flute. This is all. None of this is regal. Even in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we find that Krishna, when living in Dwarka, was essentially cutting a royal figure, and as a pastime, Krishna at one point was adopted the dress of a cowherd boy, and sort of was in a kind of a trance for pastimes. And then he came out of that trance, or he's brought out of the trance, and looked at himself, said, what am I doing like this? I'm the king of Dwarka. I'm a royal prince in Dwarka. What am I doing dressed like a cowherd? What's going on here? So these, even in Dwarka, Krishna doesn't have these same features seen in Vrindavan, although he does have two hands. He's a little more opulent, a little more godlike in Dwarka, and of course in Vaikuntha, he has the full manifestation of godhood. So that elicits awe, veneration, and worship, love in that mood. But in his two-armed form, he brings forth, you can say, human-like emotions. So parental love, conjugal love, and friendship. All this is attracted by Krishna's two-armed form. So yes, you're on target there.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, there are a couple more things in the chat box. I'm just reading because you're unable to. Saraswati Mati says, Param Puja Maharaj, even the Vrajvasis believe Narayan is Bhagavan.
Yes, thank you. Yes, even they. He's just our beloved Krishna. But for worship, we go to Narayan. Yes, thank you. Very
Maharaj,
sweet comment. Yes.
that reminds me of what Jayadvaita Swami said, that he once asked a Brajvasi, who's your Ishtadeva? And the Brajvasi said, Durga. He said, Durga, what about Krishna? And the Brajvasi said, what can Krishna do for me? He's just a little boy.
Yes. We recall that in Sridham Mayapur, they unearthed the family deity of Jagannath Mishra. And what was that deity? It was Varaha or something. Kurma. So, Jagannath Mishra is worshiping Kurma, and he's treating Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his son. So, yes, in the same mood. Thank you there.
And Athena says, but you can be a Narayan Bhakta.
Yes.
And then she says, Bhakti is for the Supreme, so my understanding is that you can be a Nrsimha Bhakta, Ram Bhakta, etc.
Absolutely. That's certainly Bhakti. What is that? We're chanting every day, Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavrata Namo. So this is Bhakti. Bhakti means for Lord Vishnu. And it may be in the mood of Vaikuntha, or it may be in the mood of Vrindavan. But the fullest manifestation of Bhakti is found in Vrindavan. And we find that again in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. There's a sort of a journey through different forms of Bhakti as found in different planetary systems or among different devotees. And we see that it's all bhakti and it's all absolute. And yet it reaches extraordinary levels in Vrindavan, and especially among the gopis. So it's all bhakti, it's all absolute, it's all accepted. Not that we say that Prahlad Maharaj, because he's worshiping Lord Nishinga, well, that's not bhakti. Absolutely, it's bhakti. Yet the bhakti found in Vrindavan is still more exalted. Anything else?
Yes, Athena goes on to say, and we are made in the image of God. So if Krishna, the original, had 4 arms, I assume we as humans, by Krishna's design, would have 4 arms too.
Well, that's sort of mixing a little biblical theology with Bhagavad Tattva, but but we can be especially attracted to Krishna. Yes.
And,
Now, yes.
oh, and Prabeen also says, all the Vaikuntha-vasis have similar 4-handed forms to associate with 4-handed Narayan.
Yes, that's also true. That's also true. And in Vrindavan, everyone's 2-armed. We're just about ready to wrap up here. We're also just about entering Brooklyn, by the way, for those who are wondering where we are. We were discussing before the class, it seems like we're clear to transfer this Thursday night program to our usual Monday, Wednesday, and Friday channel. So there'll be a switchover, and when we switch, we'll all be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on the same Zoom channel. I don't know if we can post something on the present Thursday night channel to say that, but in any case, that's what will happen. And that may happen as soon as this next coming Thursday. We'll find out. So if you don't find the class in one place, you'll find it in the other. And you can share that with your friends and others who may not be here this evening. And I think that wraps us up. It does. And who's leading Kirtan?
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Shripad Paramhansa Paripuracharya Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anand Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai, Namacharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath, Sham Kunda Radha Kundigiri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ramana Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol.
Thank you for touch for Prabhu.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Kendra Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj. And apologies to everybody for the craziness with the verses on the shared screen because there was some technical issues.
And apologies for my technical issues today.
Thank you, Gurudev.
All right. Hare Krishna. All glories to you.